This is an MJA Inc. Investigations warning. This MJA podcast is rated E for explicit. Some details of a case and language used on this podcast might be upsetting to some of our listeners. Listeners' discretion is advised. And for those who are still with us, kick back and enjoy the show. When there is an ending, there was a beginning. Every victim has a picture to paint. Every true crime has its time and place. Please join our MJ podcast, the series Deep into the Woods, Missing Persons, Unsolved Crimes, and the Does. Welcome to our MJ podcast. This series, Cases State by State, Episode 9, Part 8, 8 Missing Person Cases. During this podcast, we will profile 8 missing person cases. We will profile a missing male and female case from 4 states. People, for whatever reason, vanishes without a trace every year with no end in sight. In 2021, the NCIC missing person files for 21-year-olds and over in the United States numbered 163,044. Missing people 21 years of age or over, 100,492 missing males, 62,552 missing females. Good evening, my name is Mark, and I will be your host for tonight's show. Joining me later will be our co-host, Olivia. We will profile cases state by state, 8 missing person cases. We are coming to you from Morrisonville, New York, located in the Adirondack Mountains. 8 missing persons. Case 1. On September 21st, 1981, a 27-year-old white male, William Dale Cunningham, went missing with a large amount of money from Bloomington, Indiana. Case 2. On August 2nd, 1978, a 23-year-old black female, Michelle Ellis, was last seen at her home around 8 a.m. in Indianapolis, Indiana. Case 3. On January 15, 1994, a 21-year-old white male, Joel Mark Wells, was last seen by friends at Walmart located in Hazard, Kentucky. Case 4. On August 26, 1995, a 23-year-old white female, Heather Danielle Tigg, was abducted while sunbathing at Newburgh Beach, located near Spotsville, Kentucky. Case 5. On December 1st, 1993, John Andrews Cheek, a 28-year-old white male, vanished without a trace after being at his vehicle parked at the Crescent Center located in Memphis, Tennessee. Case 6. On June 8, 1992, 28-year-old Elizabeth Diane Bond, a white female, vanished without a trace while on her way back to pick up her daughter in White House, Tennessee. Case 7. On January 2nd, 1996, 37-year-old Mitchell T. Hamilton, a white male, was last seen leaving his home located in Kansas City, Missouri. Case 8. On June 19, 1972, 22-year-old Christine Anna Seal, a white female, was last seen by her husband at their home located in Mount Vernon, Missouri. Let's take a pause for the cause, and when we return, Olivia will be on the line, and we will profile 8 missing person cases from 4 states. Be back in a moment. Welcome to our MJ podcast. This series, Cases State by State, Episode 9, Part 8, 8 missing person cases. We have Olivia on the line. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well.
Are you ready to profile these unsolved mysteries?
Yes, I am.
The Doe Network has 66 males and 55 females listed as missing from the state of Indiana. Welcome to Indiana. Case 1. Welcome to Bloomington, Indiana. On September 21st, 1981, a 27-year-old white male, William Dale Cunningham, went missing with a large amount of money from Bloomington, Indiana. The 27-year-old Cunningham left Bloomington, Indiana alone on September 18, 1981 to visit friends in South Bend, Indiana. Cunningham was carrying between $30,000 to $40,000 in cash at the time. The 27-year-old Cunningham was last heard from when he made a phone call from Pierceton, Indiana on September 21st, 1981. Cunningham has never been heard from again. Several weeks later, his black and silver 1978 Lincoln Continental was found unlocked and abandoned in a grocery store parking lot in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The vehicle sat in the parking lot for a month before it was towed. The Citizens Band radio and radar detector had been taken from the vehicle. Investigators believe the vehicle had been stolen and the thieves left it where it was found. Police believe Cunningham was a dealer of marijuana, hashish, and cocaine in the South Bend, Indiana area. This is why the 27-year-old Cunningham had so much cash on him when he disappeared. William Dale Cunningham and another man owned a drive-in restaurant in Bloomington, Indiana, the A&W Drive-In in the 600 block of North College Avenue. Cunningham's business partner dropped out of sight after Cunningham's disappearance. Police were seeking him for questioning, but they were unable to locate him. It's unknown whether he has ever resurfaced. Investigators believe Cunningham may have been a victim of a homicide. The disappearance of 27-year-old William Dale Cunningham remains unsolved. If you have any info concerning this case, please contact the Indiana State Police District 41 at 574-546-4900.
Case 2. Welcome to Indianapolis, Indiana. On August 2nd, 1978, a 23-year-old black female, Michelle Ellis, was last seen at her home around 8 a.m. in Indianapolis, Indiana. The 23-year-old Ellis was last seen at her home where she lived with her parents. Ellis left the home without telling her parents where she was going. Her car was found abandoned a half hour later, about half a block from a gas station. The car had run out of fuel. Inside the car, police found her car keys and purse containing her ID, credit cards, $2 in change, and her checkbook. Driver's side door was locked, but the passenger door was not. Several witnesses told police they had seen the 23-year-old Ellis walking north from her car. Another witness said he saw her car with its emergency blinkers flashing and pulling behind Michelle's car. At the time of her disappearance, the 23-year-old Michelle Ellis was working part-time as a model while attending college. Ellis was employed as a cashier at an automotive store until she quit on July 28th without picking up her paycheck. On December 11th, 1980, Michelle's parents received a phone call from someone who said, "This is Michelle," and the caller hung up. The caller never called again, and it has never been confirmed to have been Michelle who called. At the time of her disappearance, friends told investigators Michelle had been depressed. Other than that potential phone call, Michelle's family has not heard from her since her disappearance. If you have any info concerning this case, please contact the Indianapolis Metro Police Department at 317-327-6160.
The Doe Network has 46 males and 39 females listed as missing from the state of Kentucky. Welcome to the state of Kentucky. Case 3. Welcome to Hazard, Kentucky. On January 15, 1994, a 21-year-old white male, Joel Mark Wells, was last seen by friends at Walmart located in Hazard, Kentucky. Mark Wells was last seen as he left a group of friends at the old Walmart in the Black Gold Shopping Center. The 21-year-old Wells left after an argument and walked to a Burger King restaurant around closing time on January 15, 1994. Wells banged on the doors of the restaurant. The police were called, and they were there within minutes. Police circled the local businesses and never saw anything at all. It was extremely cold that night and too cold for anyone to be out walking. According to witnesses, Wells was distressed and seemed to be wanting help. The 21-year-old Mark Wells have never been seen or heard from again. Search dogs hit on a scent near the river behind City Hall, but nothing else. Police with family members and volunteers searched for days around the area where Wells was last seen and found nothing. 21-year-old Mark Wells was one of 14 children and left behind 2 very young sons. If you have any info concerning this case, please contact the Kentucky State Police Post 13 at 606-435-6069.
Case 4. Welcome to Spotsville, Kentucky. On August 26, 1995, a 23-year-old white female, Heather Danielle Teague, was abducted while sunbathing at Newburgh Beach, located near Spotsville, Kentucky. The 23-year-old Teague was sunbathing at Newburgh Beach along the Ohio River in Henderson County, Kentucky. Witness was observing the beach area through a telescope from across the Ohio River at about 12:45 p.m. The witness told authorities that he saw a Caucasian man approach the 23-year-old Teague at that time. The abductor allegedly grabbed Teague by the hair and dragged her into the woods off of Newburgh Beach at gunpoint. The abductor was about 6 feet tall and weighed 210 to 230 pounds. The unknown abductor had brown hair and a bushy brown beard. The male abductor was wearing jeans and did not have a shirt on. It was also reported that the abductor was wearing a wig and a mosquito net at the time he abducted the 23-year-old Teague. Police searched the Newburgh Beach area later in the day and discovered part of Teague's bathing suit near the alleged abduction site. Additional evidence was also located, but nothing investigators found could lead them to Teague's whereabouts. 23-year-old Heather Teague has never been heard from again. Marvin Ray Marty Dill, a resident of Henderson County, Kentucky, was pulled over in a routine traffic stop after Teague's disappearance. Dill drove a red and white Ford Bronco, which was identical to a vehicle a witness reported was parked next to Teague's car on Newburgh Beach. Police discovered a hair resembling Heather Teague's, 2 guns, 2 knives, duct tape, rubber gloves, and rope in Dill's vehicle at the time of the traffic stop. The truck had bloodstains on the inside tailgate. Dill also strongly resembled the composite sketch made of Teague's abductor. Investigators received several tips connecting Dill to Teague's case in August 1995 and arrived at his home to question him. Dill reportedly told his wife to leave their residence after becoming alerted to law enforcement's presence. Dill then committed suicide by shooting himself before officers could enter his home. Prosecutors compiled available evidence against Dill after his death and brought the information before a grand jury. Dill's wife was called as a witness during the grand jury phase, but she invoked her Fifth Amendment rights and refused to answer any questions about Heather Teague's abduction. Another possible suspect in Teague's case is Christopher J. Bello, Henderson, Kentucky. Bello?
Yes.
Of Henderson, Kentucky. Bello pleaded guilty to attempted involuntary manslaughter in connection with the 1991 death of his mistress and served a prison sentence of 11 to 18 years for the crime. The body of Bello's mistress has never been found. Bello is also considered a possible suspect in the disappearance of several other women. Investigators believe Bello may have attacked the other women who physically resembled each other. Bello was known to be in the general area where Teague was abducted. Shortly after the 23-year-old Teague disappeared, and on the same day Dill committed suicide, Bello left Kentucky. Bello, Marvin Dill, and Heather Teague share some acquaintances. Billow and Dill went to grade school together. The witness to Teague's abduction consistently identified Dill and not Billow as the kidnapper. The police believe they have the circumstantial evidence to tie Billow to the crime. They believe Billow and Dill may have done it together. Perhaps one grabbed Teague and the other drove the getaway car. Billow has not been charged in connection with Teague's case due to a lack of conclusive evidence linking him to the crime. February 2013, Heather Teague's mother filed a lawsuit against local, state, and federal authorities in connection with her daughter's abduction. Teague's mother claims law enforcement focused on the wrong suspect in Teague's kidnapping and failed to follow up on leads that would have led the investigation elsewhere. 23-year-old Heather Teague's disappearance remains unsolved. Foul play is suspected due to the circumstances involved in Teague's case. Let it be noted that several law enforcement agencies believe that Chris Billow is a serial killer. If you have any info concerning this case, please contact Kentucky State Police at 270-826-3312.
Let's take a pause for the cause, and when we return, we will profile 4 more missing person cases. Be back in a moment. Welcome back to our MJ podcast. This series, Cases State by State, Episode 9, Part 8. 8 missing person cases. The Doe Network has 29 males and 54 females listed as missing from the state of Tennessee. Welcome to Tennessee. Case 5. Welcome to Memphis, Tennessee. On December 1st, 1993, John Andrews Cheek, a 28-year-old white male, vanished without a trace after being at his vehicle parked at the Crescent Center located in Memphis, Tennessee. On December 1st, 1993, at around 11 p.m., a dinner companion dropped the 28-year-old Cheek at his black 1987 Acura Legend parked at the Crescent Center. Cheek was intoxicated at the time. On December 2nd, 1993, John Cheek didn't show up for work. On December 3rd, 1993, Cheek's parents filed a missing persons report. The 28-year-old Cheek unpacked suitcases were found in the home that he bought in East Memphis, Tennessee. The garage door was open. John Cheek's car was recovered parked on the Delaware exit ramp on Interstate 55, where the highway crosses over the Mississippi River. It was about 12 miles from John Cheek's home. There were no signs of a struggle. Searches of the river and its banks failed to locate 28-year-old John Cheek. When Cheek disappeared, his job was planning a conversion to a real estate investment trust. The 28-year-old Cheek was working 18-hour days and flying all over the world to meet with investors. Just before Cheek's disappearance, he took a 3-day trip to Milwaukee, Denver, and Portland, Oregon to work on the deal. When Cheek returned to Memphis, Tennessee, he went straight to his office. Cheek told colleagues he had been awake for 72 hours at that point. During this time, something went awry with the deal, which affected Cheek greatly, causing him to leave the business trip and catch a late flight home to Memphis, Tennessee. The 28-year-old John Cheek may have been depressed at the time of his disappearance. If you have any info concerning this case, please contact the Memphis Police Department at 901-543-2720.
Case 6. Welcome to White House, Tennessee. On June 8, 1992, 28-year-old Elizabeth Diane Vaughn a white female vanished without a trace while on the way to pick up her daughter in White House, Tennessee. Diane Vaughn was last seen in Gallatin, Tennessee on June 18, 1992. The 28-year-old Vaughn had recently moved into an apartment in Hendersonville, Tennessee with a young daughter. Vaughn would drop the child off at her mother's house while she was at work. On the day of her disappearance, Diane Vaughn's estranged husband of 8 years, Bruce M. Vaughn, picked up their daughter from Diane's mother's house. The father took his daughter to his own home in White House, Tennessee. The 28-year-old Diane Vaughn called her cousin that day and said she was going to White House to pick up her daughter. Bruce stated Diane did come over and they had an argument, and Diane Vaughn left. 28-year-old Vaughn told her husband she was going to get gas and dinner and then return to her apartment. Vaughn had plans to visit her cousin afterwards but never arrived there. The 28-year-old Diane Vaughn has never been heard from again. Vaughn's blue 1991 Ford Tempo was found abandoned on June 20th, 1992, parked outside O'Charlie's restaurant. This location was on 2 Mile Parkway at the Rivergate Mall in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. One employee at O'Charlie's thought he'd seen her sitting alone at the bar the night of June 18, 1992. But everyone else said Vaughn hadn't been there. Police believe the car may have been parked at the restaurant to mislead the investigation. One witness reported seeing a woman matching Diane's description outside of O'Charlie's at 11 p.m. on the night of her disappearance. The witness stated that Vaughn was getting into a truck with a man who had shoulder-length red hair and a beard. The man's pickup was a red 1980s model with a toolbox and chrome running boards with white spoke wheels. The sighting has never been confirmed. At the time of Vaughn's disappearance, Diane was seeing a married co-worker. The 28-year-old Vaughn had just started divorce proceedings against Bruce Vaughn. Police called Bruce Vaughn's actions after her disappearance bizarre. He refused to cooperate with the investigation and quickly retained an attorney. Bruce Vaughn also gave 2 different versions of when he last saw Diane. In one version, Bruce Vaughn said Diane left his house at 8 p.m. In another story, Bruce claimed Diane left later, sometime after 9:30 p.m. According to Diane Vaughn's cousin, Bruce did not want his wife to divorce him and threatened suicide if she went through with it. Bruce Vaughn would also call Diane at the grocery store where she worked and threatened to come over there and talk to her. There was no known history of violence in the couple's relationship. Diane's mother defended her son-in-law in the media. Investigators believe the 28-year-old Diane Vaughn was the victim of a homicide. Diane Vaughn's case remains unsolved. If you have any info concerning this case, please contact the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at 615-452-2616.
The Doe Network has 130 males and 114 females listed as being missing from the state of Missouri. Welcome to Missouri. Case 7. Welcome to Kansas City, Missouri. On January 2nd, 1996, 37-year-old Mitchell T. Hamilton, a white male, was last seen leaving his home located in Kansas City, Missouri. The 37-year-old Hamilton left his home without an explanation on January 2nd, 1996, and has never been heard from again. Michael T. Hamilton's possible destination is Florida or Minnesota. The 37-year-old Hamilton did suffer from psychological problems. Family members say Hamilton had a chemical imbalance that caused him social anxiety and ruined his ability to hold a job. Mitchell T. Hamilton fretted that he was a burden to his family. The 37-year-old Mitchell excelled at math and was great at computers. Later, after a series of failed jobs and a brief troubled marriage, Mitchell lived with his brother, who had gone through a divorce and was raising 2 sons. If you have any info concerning this case, please contact the Kansas City Police Department at 816-234-5136.
Case 8. Welcome to Mount Vernon, Missouri. On June 19th, 1972, 22-year-old Christine Anna Seal, a white female, was last seen by her husband at their home located in Mount Vernon, Missouri. On June 19th, 1972, her husband left the house at 8 a.m. while his wife and their 2-year-old son were asleep. At 9:45 a.m., Seal's husband dropped by the house again and found his son alone, and he was crying. There was no indication of Seal's whereabouts, and the 22-year-old Seal has never been heard from again. The 22-year-old Christine Anna Seal left behind her purse, her clothes, her shoes, and her car. Bloodhounds traced Seal's scent only as far as the driveway behind where the family's car was parked. The mailman had stopped by the Seal home at 9:30 a.m. The mailman saw the Seal's child just inside the screen door and crying, indicating Seal disappeared sometime before that. Seal's husband filed for divorce in 1974. He has since remarried, and his second wife adopted Christine Seal's son. Christine Anna Seal's case remains unsolved, and foul play is suspected. If you have any info concerning this case, please contact the Lawrence County Sheriff's Department at 417-466-213, extension 1.
Okay, Olivia, do you have anything you would like to add to these cases?
Just the Cheeks case stands out to me in the Vaughn case. Cheek case, he was dealing with money, probably. I think his disappearance had something to do with that deal that went bad in Milwaukee. What do you think?
That's a good possibility, yeah.
You know, people are funny with money. They always say that. You know, you never speak about money to anybody. And then this Vaughn case, that bothers me. There's something weird there. I mean, she was having an affair with a married man, and her husband didn't want to divorce her. Maybe she was having an affair while they were married, and her husband just has something to do with her disappearance. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or it could be the wife of the married man. You know, women get nutty.
Yeah, that can happen, yes.
Yeah. Interesting cases tonight.
All right. I want to thank Olivia for being on the show tonight. A special thanks goes to our viewers and listeners for tuning in, for you all have been so kind. I have a quote for you all. It's never too late to be what you might have been. George Eliot. That's the end of our MJ podcast, the series Cases State by State. This has been episode 9, part 8, 8 missing person cases. Always remember, folks, that if you ever get bored with nothing to do, well, take a walk deep into the woods. You might be surprised at what you might find. We say to all of you, good night from Morrisonville, New York.
Every time I look in the mirror, all these lines on my face getting clearer, and the past is gone. It went by, light are still gone. Isn't that the way? Every Everybody's got their dues in life to pay. Yeah, I know nobody knows where it comes and where it goes. I know everybody says you got to lose to know how to win. If my life's in books, written pages, live and learn from fools and from sages, you know it's true. And all the things that come back to you. Say with me, sing for the year, sing for the laughter, sing for the tear. Say with me if it's just for today, maybe tomorrow the good Lord will take you away. Yeah, sing with me, sing for the year, sing for the laughter, sing for the tear. Sing with me if it's just for today, maybe tomorrow the good Lord will take you away. Oh, dream.